My cherished child, I have orchestrated this very moment in time just to whisper into the depths of your spirit. I want to tell you something that carries the weight of eternity, something designed to fundamentally shift how you perceive your own worth and how you recognize my presence. I know you with a depth that no human language can fully capture. I am not looking at the polished version of yourself that you present to the world, nor the carefully curated image you project to keep others at a distance. I know the authentic you, the magnificent, complicated, and priceless soul that I breathed into existence. And I am here to tell you something truly wonderful. My thoughts have never once strayed from you. My blueprints for your future have always been filled with hope and goodness. I am intimately acquainted with your quietest longings and the dreams you've tucked away so deep you've almost forgotten they exist. I have never stopped caring about the smallest detail of your life. You have often believed you were navigating your private storms in total isolation. You thought that the worries keeping you awake when the rest of the world is silent were too insignificant or perhaps too messy for me to attend to. You assumed the persistent ache in your chest was just a permanent resident you had to tolerate. You thought the tears you shed in the dark fell into a void of indifference. But I want you to know that every single one of those tears was caught in the palm of my hand. Every wordless cry for help reached my ears with the clarity of a trumpet blast. In every second you felt invisible to the world, I was closer to you than the very rhythm of your heart. I know the real you, the one that exists in the stillness between your public sentences. I know the version of you that grapples with uncertainties you'd never dare speak aloud. I see the child within you that still carries the weight of things that happened a lifetime ago. I hear the questions you whisper into the shadows when sleep feels like a stranger. You ask me why life took such a jagged turn, why those you trusted walked away, or why I allowed you to stumble when you were trying so hard to stand. You wonder why others seem to be walking in the very blessings you have been fasting and praying for. You ask why your heart still feels so fragile after all this time, and why you feel lonely even in a crowded room. I want you to hear me clearly. I have listened to every single one of those questions, and not once have I turned away from you because you dared to ask them. The vastness of your questions does not intimidate me. The intensity of your doubt does not offend my holiness. The raw, unvarnished nature of your pain does not diminish my love for you in the slightest. In fact, it is in those moments of brutal, bleeding honesty, when you finally stop performing and start being real, that you are most aligned with my heart. Because that is when you shed the heavy armor of who you think you should be and finally stand as who you actually are. And the person you actually are is the one I dreamed of before the foundations of the world were laid. You are the one I adore with a passion that transcends human understanding. You are the one for whom I would move heaven and earth to protect. You have exhausted yourself trying to hide your true face from me, building fortifications around your heart because you feared that if I saw the shadows within, I would cast you out. You've edited your prayers to sound more spiritual, as if I didn't already know the state of your soul. You've apologized for your humanity as if it were an error I didn't see coming. But my child, you cannot buy what has already been given to you for free. My love is not a trophy for the most well-behaved. It is the very ground you walk on. Before you ever made a right choice, before you ever stumbled, before you ever earned an accolade or faced a rejection, I loved you. Not for your potential, but for your essence. You are not defined by your lowest point. You are not the sum total of your failures or the labels that bitter people have tried to stick to your name. You are not the trauma that tried to break you, nor the diagnosis that tried to define your future. You are not the balance in your bank account or the status of your relationships. You are my masterpiece. You are the apple of my eye, the one I sing over with songs of deliverance. You are the one whose name I have engraved upon my very palms. I see the invisible burden you are currently carrying, the one you pretend isn't there because you don't want to be a bother. I see the responsibility you never asked for, but feel you cannot set down. I see the internal pressure you feel to keep everyone smiling while your own spirit is fracturing. I see the bone-deep exhaustion that sleep cannot fix, the kind of tired that comes from fighting silent wars for years on end. I see you wearing that heavy armor every single day, bracing for a blow you're sure is coming. And I am telling you right here and right now, you were never intended to carry that weight by yourself. That load was designed to be shared with me. I am standing right beside you, reaching for that heavy pack you've been dragging through the dust. I am asking you to let me carry what is currently crushing you.
What if letting go isn't a loss of control, but the moment you finally find safety? What if the thing you are clutching so tightly is the very thing that is keeping you from the life I have for you? You don't have to prove your strength to me. I know your limits because I am the one who designed the beautiful fragility of your human frame. I know exactly when the weight becomes too much, and I am telling you, it is too much. I carried the cross so that you wouldn't have to carry the world. I know the pain that doesn't show up on an X-ray, the grief that ambushes you in the grocery store, the betrayal that made your heart go cold, the loss that left a hollow space nothing seems to fill. I was there the night you ran out of tears but kept crying anyway. I was there when the reality of your situation hit you like a wave and you had to learn to breathe all over again. You have never, for a single second, suffered in a vacuum. Even when you felt abandoned by everyone, I was the one holding you up. Even when you were shouting at me in anger, I stayed. I have been in every hospital room, every lonely apartment, and every silent drive home. And I haven't just been a passive observer of your pain, I have been gathering it. I am the God who wastes nothing. I take the jagged, broken shards of your life and I use them to create a mosaic of redemption. Every wound the enemy intended to use for your destruction is a place where I am going to pour in my healing power until it becomes the very source of your strength. Every setback you thought was the end was actually me setting the stage for a grand comeback. I am the one who takes the ashes of dead dreams and breathes life back into them. I am the one who restores the years that felt wasted. But I need you to trust the process even when the middle feels messy. This situation you are in isn't random chaos, it's a pressing that is releasing a new anointing in you. It's the fire that is burning away everything that isn't gold. You want the breakthrough without the breaking, but I am doing something in this valley that can only be done here. You see darkness, I see glory. You see a dead end, I see a new beginning. If I showed you the future I have planned for you, you wouldn't believe it. You would think you weren't worthy of such a bright horizon. But that is why you need faith, because faith is trusting my character when you can't see my hand. I know the desires you've stopped talking about because the hope felt too dangerous to keep. The healing, the restoration, the purpose, those aren't just your ideas, they are echoes of my will for you. The enemy attacks those desires because he's terrified of what will happen when they manifest. He wants to convince you that you've missed your window, but I am the God who stands outside of time. Abraham, Moses, David, they all had to wait, and not 1 second of their waiting was wasted. It was preparation. It was character building. If I opened the door before you were ready, the blessing would crush you. I am protecting you in the waiting, not punishing you. I am making sure that when the promise arrives, you will have the foundation to hold it. I know your fears, the what-ifs that play like a broken record in your mind. Truth is, even if your worst fear came true, I would still be there with resurrection power in my hands. Look at Joseph, from the pit to the prison to the palace. Every bad thing was a step toward his destiny. I am doing the same for you. I am turning the betrayal into a testimony and the trial into a triumph. I have heard every cutting word spoken against you, and I am here to drown them out with my truth. You are chosen. You are royal. You are mine. I know what you have lost, and I am the God of restoration. What was stolen in the night, I will return with interest in the morning. And I know your mistakes too, the ones you keep replaying. I have already forgiven them. Stop punishing yourself for sins I have already washed away. Step out of the prison of guilt. The door has been unlocked the whole time. I am working on your behalf right now. Angels are being dispatched, hearts are being softened, pathways are being cleared. The moment of manifestation is closer than you realize. So hold on. Do not give up when you are on the very edge of the harvest. The enemy wants you to quit now because he sees the dawn breaking. Stand firm. Keep your eyes on me. I have never failed you, and I am not about to start now. Your weeping has lasted through the night, but I promise you, joy is coming with the morning light. My precious child, I have watched you walk with such quiet dignity and unwavering integrity, even when it felt as though your truthfulness was a disadvantage in a world that rewards the deceitful. You have looked on as those who lie and manipulate seem to climb higher and faster, while you remained faithful in the small things, waiting your turn with a heart full of hope. I have seen you do everything according to my word, only to feel as though every door was being bolted shut against you. But I want you to hear me clearly. I have never once looked away.
I have been the silent witness to every act of loyalty you performed when no human eye was watching. I saw the sacrifices you made in the secret of your heart, the ones that went unthanked and unacknowledged by those around you. I watched you choose the hard path of obedience over the easy lure of comfort, and I felt the weight of the honor you gave me when it cost you everything to do so. Every seed of prayer you have sowed while your face was wet with tears has been gathered by my hands. I stood beside you in the moments when your spirit was so weary that quitting seemed like the only mercy, yet you chose to take just one more step. I saw the battles you fought in the silence of your own mind, the temptations you turned away from with a trembling no, and the times you chose the agonizing grace of forgiveness over the poisonous honey of bitterness. Not a single act of your kindness has been lost to me. I am even now fashioning a recompense for you that will dwarf every loss you have endured.
I am cultivating a harvest in the heavenly places that is so much more magnificent than the humble seeds you planted in the dirt. I am preparing a blessing so vast, so overflowing, that the containers of your life will not be able to hold the abundance of my goodness. I am arranging a promotion that will make the years of being overlooked feel like a distant, fading memory. A divine vindication is coming that will silence every voice of accusation and doubt that has ever whispered against your calling. I am preparing a testimony for you that will not only bring glory to my name, but will grant you a divine influence to change the world around you. An anointing is resting upon you that will swing open heavy iron gates that no man, no matter how powerful, will ever be able to shut again. I am positioning you in rooms that you could never have entered on your own merit, for my favor is your passport. You are entering a season of such profound fruitfulness that the sting of your barren years will be completely forgotten in the sweetness of the new wine. However, my child, you must understand that the hands of the clock are moved by my wisdom, not your urgency. I am not slow in my movements. I am strategic in my design. I am never late, for I am the author of time itself, and I am always exactly on schedule. When you feel I am withholding, remember that I am actually preparing. The weight you feel is not a punishment intended to crush you. It is a refinement intended to perfect the strength of your character. I do not allow you to struggle without a holy purpose. I am developing in you the inner substance that will be necessary to sustain the glory I am about to release through you. I have not ignored a single syllable of your prayers. I am simply answering them in a way that far exceeds the smallness of your requests. What you perceive as a delay is actually my kindness. If I gave you everything you cried out for the very moment you wanted it, you would miss the true treasures I have stored up for you. Treasures that require a heart ready to receive them. I need you to trust my timing. I need you to lean into my methods and rest in the safety of my heart. Trust my plan, for it was written with love before you were ever formed. Trust my faithfulness, which is as constant as the rising sun. Believe that I know exactly what I am doing, even when the path looks like a tangled maze to your eyes. I see the end from the beginning, and I am weaving every broken thread of your life into a masterpiece for your ultimate good. Trust that the destination I am leading you toward is worth every mile of this difficult journey. Trust that the person I am sculpting you into is worth every cut of the chisel you are feeling right now. I know you wonder why some were allowed to stay in your life while others were led away. You wonder why that toxic relationship lasted for so many seasons while the one that felt healthy was cut short. You question why the door you were desperate to walk through remained locked while a door you never sought swung wide open. I allowed every bit of it, not because I was distracted, but because I was directing your footsteps. Not because I ignored your desires, but because I was shielding your purpose. I never wanted you to be hurt, but I knew that what you needed to learn and the strength you needed to gain could only be forged in the heat of those specific fires. I did not allow you to struggle without a holy purpose. I am developing in you the inner substance that will be necessary to sustain the glory I am about to release through you. Some people were only meant to be a chapter in your book, not the entire story. They served their purpose. They taught you a lesson you couldn't have learned elsewhere. They revealed parts of your soul that needed to be seen. Sometimes they showed you exactly what you do not want, so that you would recognize what you truly need. When their assignment was finished, I removed them, not to punish you, but to protect the path ahead. If they had remained, they would have tethered you to a past that I have already called you out of. If they had stayed, you would have settled for a version of yourself that was far too small. You would have become comfortable in a resting place that was never meant to be your final home. And those closed doors, they were shut because I saw the trap the enemy had set behind them. I saw how that opportunity would have limited your growth or detoured you into a desert.
I know it felt like rejection. I know you grieved for what you thought was yours. But one day, you will look back and breathe a prayer of gratitude for every no I gave you, for you will see clearly the disasters I spared you from. In this very season, I am closing even more doors. Some you are still trying to pry open with your own fingers. You think they hold the answers to your problems, but I am closing them because I have something better behind me. I need you to stop staring at what has been shut. Stop mourning the end of what was never meant to be permanent. Stop trying to force a flow where there is only a drought. Stop chasing those who are running away. Release your grip on what is slipping from your hands. Turn around and look at the new thing I am doing. See the new door. See the fresh opportunity. See the new relationship that will actually honor your spirit. See the new version of yourself that is emerging from the cocoon. I am taking you to a new level, and it requires you to travel light. I know your heart feels heavy, burdened by weights I never asked you to carry. You are clutching pain that I have been waiting to heal. You are wrestling with questions that I have already settled in the heavens. You are fighting wars that I have already won on your behalf. You are trying to repair things that I have already redeemed and stressing over details that I have already handled. You are worrying about a tomorrow that is already safe in my hands. Let it all go. Release it into the vastness of my grace. Every worry, every trauma, every regret, and every need to control, place them at my feet and leave them there. Trust me to do what is impossible for you. Trust me to mend what is shattered beyond your repair. Trust me to provide when the storehouses look empty. Because I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end of all things. I am the Creator who sustains every living breath, the author who is writing your victory, and the finisher who will perfect your faith. I am the way through the wilderness, the light that the darkness cannot extinguish, and the peace that stands guard in the middle of the storm. And above all, remember that I am your Father. I am not a distant, cold deity who is too busy managing the stars to hear your heartbeat. I am a loving Father who knows the number of hairs on your head. I hear your softest whisper just as clearly as your loudest shout. I am the Father who runs to meet you while you are still a long way off. I celebrate your every win, and I mourn every loss with you. I love you with a love that is everlasting and unchanging. I am asking you to rest in that love. I am asking you to stop performing and simply start receiving. You are enough, not because of your works, but because of your birthright as my child. You don't have to be perfect to be accepted by me. Come as you are, messy, broken, angry, or confused. I meet my children in their mess. I walk into the fire with you. I sit with you in the ashes of your disappointment. I am not shocked by your struggles or offended by your doubts. I have seen it all, and I still choose you. I still have a magnificent plan for you. A plan to prosper you and give you a future filled with hope. But to walk in that plan, you must surrender yours. You must lay down your agenda and let go of the illusion that you are in control. I am good at being God. I've been doing it for eternity. I don't need your help to fix the universe. I just need your trust. Every tear you have shed is a seed. One day, the ground of your life will burst open with a harvest so great you will weep with joy instead of grief. The pain you endured will become the testimony that set other captives free. Nothing in your life is wasted. Not the betrayal, not the failure, not the tragedy. I am weaving it all into a tapestry of redemption. You will one day see the threads of my faithfulness even in your darkest hours.
you will know that I never left you for a single second. So do not give up in the middle of the process. Do not quit when the path gets steep, for the view from the top is coming. Lift your head, wipe away the tears, take a deep breath, and decide that you are going to trust the one who knows the way. I love you with a love that was proven on a cross and is renewed every single morning. You are victorious. You are a world changer. You are mine, and I am with you always until the very end of time. My precious child, I am not a God who merely overlooks the imperfections of your past. I am the one who reaches into the dark of your history and pulls forth light, turning every jagged scar into a brilliant star that guides others. I do not hide the wreckage of your life. I reshape the mess into a powerful message.
You must understand who I am to understand what I am doing in you right now. I am the architect of the comeback and the author of the second chance. I specialize in the do-over, in the turnaround. My hands are constantly at work, taking that which is shattered beyond recognition and breathing a new, more resilient beauty into it. I am the God who walks into graveyards and calls for life. I am the God who looks at the impossible and sees only an opportunity to demonstrate what is possible. I know exactly how it feels for you right now. I see you standing there, feeling as though your life has been placed on a permanent pause while everyone around you is moving at full speed. You feel like you are running a race on a treadmill, exhausting yourself, yet never gaining an inch of ground. You feel trapped in a chapter of your story that you are desperate to close, watching as others start fresh, vibrant books. You are waiting for the wind to change, for the sun to break through, but the horizon remains gray. The frustration you feel is real, and the restlessness in your spirit is growing because you were created for greatness. You were not designed for stagnation. I know it, and deep down you know it too. Yet the door remains shut. The breakthrough remains just out of reach, and you are so very tired of the wait. But my love, what if I told you that this stuck place is actually a sheltered place? What if the pause is not an interruption, but a divine preparation? Sometimes I hold you in one spot because the ground ahead is not yet ready for your feet, or perhaps your feet are not yet ready for the ground. It is not because you have failed or because you are lacking. It is because I am still doing a deep work in your foundation. I am developing a strength in you that you cannot yet fathom, a strength you will absolutely require for the heights I am taking you to. I am gently removing the weights that would cause you to stumble in your next season. I am cleaning out the hidden toxins of your past, the bitterness, the self-doubt, the old hurts, so they do not poison the fruit of your future. I am teaching you lessons in the quiet of this room that can only be mastered here, in this exact moment of your life. Remember the journey of the Israelites. They spent 40 decades in the wilderness, 40 years in the same dust, under the same sun. To them, it felt like a cycle of failure, but they were not stuck. They were being forged. The generation that carried the heavy chains of a slave mentality had to be replaced by a generation with the heart of a warrior. The desert was not their graveyard, it was their classroom. By the time they reached the banks of the Jordan, they were not the same people who had fled Egypt. The delay had matured them. The waiting had deepened their trust. The wilderness had transformed them from refugees into conquerors. This is exactly what I am doing with you. This season of silence is actually a season of strengthening. When the time comes for you to finally move, you will emerge with a wisdom that is unshakable. You will be more dependent on my voice and more confident in my timing. You will look back at this wilderness not with resentment, but with a profound gratitude, realizing that without the desert, you would have lacked the character to sustain the promised land. When the marks that rejection has left on your heart, I was there when the one you loved walked away without looking back. I was there when the person you trusted most handed you a betrayal instead of a hand. I saw you give your all only to receive nothing but silence in return. I know that rejection broke something deep inside you, making you wonder if you are enough or if there's some fundamental flaw within you that drives people away. But hear my truth.
Their inability to stay does not reflect your value. Their decision to leave is not my verdict on your life. Their blindness to your worth does not make you any less precious in my sight. Sometimes people leave because they lack the capacity to handle the weight of your calling. Sometimes they walk away because they are not strong enough to survive the glory I am placing on you. As much as it stings right now, their departure is often my protection. I remove the voices that would distract you and the hands that would hold you back. I close relationships that have become cages for your purpose. I end certain chapters so you are forced to turn the page to the masterpiece I have written for you. Sometimes I take away what you want to show you that I am truly everything you need. When you find your identity in me, you become unshakable. People are human. They're flawed, limited, and often carry their own heavy shadows. They will fail you, but I am the rock. I am the foundation that does not crack when the earth quakes. I am the constant in your world of variables. I am the keeper of every promise I have ever made to you.
I see your struggle with the what-ifs. I see the anxiety that robs you of your sleep and the worst-case scenarios that play like a movie on a loop in your mind. You are waiting for the other shoe to drop, bracing for a disaster that hasn't happened yet. It is exhausting to try and control a world that was never meant to be in your hands. I see the physical toll it takes, the racing heart, the tightness in your chest, the knot that never leaves your stomach. Anxiety is a thief, my child. It steals your today by making you terrified of your tomorrow. It robs you of the peace I have already given you. It shifts your focus from my power to your problems. I do not want you to live in this bondage. My word to you is do not fear, not because life is perfect, but because I am present. I am not asking you to ignore your reality, but to change your perspective. Instead of rehearsing your fears, start rehearsing my faithfulness. Think of every time I have already brought you through the fire. Think of every time I provided a way when you saw only a wall. If I was faithful then, why would I stop being faithful now? I also see the heavy fog of depression that tries to claim you. I see the weight on your chest and the numbness that makes even the simplest task feel like climbing a mountain. I see the isolation you seek because you don't have the words to explain the darkness to those in the light. But depression is a liar. It tells you that you will always feel this way. It tells you that I have forgotten you. That is the ultimate lie. I am right here in the darkness with you. I am holding you when you cannot even hold your head up. I am breathing for you when the air feels too thick to inhale. This season of heaviness is not your permanent residence. The sun will break through. The fog will lift. Joy is not a memory. It is a promise that is being restored to you even now. And for those habits and cycles you feel trapped in, those addictions or patterns of shame, I hold the key to the cell. You are not too far gone. Your struggle is not your identity. You are not defined by the thing you did in the dark. You are defined by the blood I shed in the light. My power is made perfect in your very weakest moment. You don't have to be strong enough to break the chain. You just have to be willing to let me do it for you. I am the master of the breakthrough. I am the one who sets the captive free. Stop comparing your journey to everyone else's highlight reel. You are seeing their finished product while you are still in my process. Their path is not your path. Their timing is not your timing. I have designed a unique destiny for you. Purpose is not just about a title or a platform. Purpose is found in your daily obedience, in the way you love when it's hard, and in the way you trust me when you can't see the finish line. When you are faithful in the small, hidden places, I am preparing you for the public places. Every tear you have shed has been collected. Every pain you have endured is being woven into a tapestry of redemption. One day, you will look back and see that nothing was wasted. You will see my hand in the delays and my heart in the closed doors. You will stand in your promised land and realize that every step through the wilderness was worth it. Lift your head, my child. Take a deep breath. You are loved with an everlasting love. You are not alone, and you are not forgotten. I am working all things together for your good, and your greatest chapters are still being written.
He performed wonders that still echo through the halls of history thousands of years later, and he spoke with me face to face as a friend speaks to a friend. He penned the very foundation of my word, all after the world would have called him finished. So I tell you today, do not allow the expectations of a limited society to confine the limitless spirit I have placed within you. Do not let the memory of a past stumble convince you that you are disqualified from the race. Do not let a door that I closed in my wisdom make you believe that there are no more hallways of opportunity left to walk. I am the God who can do more than you could ever dream, imagine, or ask for in your wildest prayers. I am the restorer of the years that were eaten away by the seasons of drought. I can compress time. I can take the progress that should take a decade and accomplish it in a day. I can fast forward your journey and accelerate your breakthrough until your head spins with my goodness. And I do this not because you have earned a single drop of it, but because my mercy is a fountain that never runs dry. I do it because my love is not a ledger of your mistakes, but a map to your redemption. Love does not harbor a grudge, and it does not seek to punish you for a debt that has already been paid in blood. Love is the power that resurrects, the hand that redeems, and the heart that delights in writing a brand new beginning on a page you thought was ruined. I know you've been whispering to yourself that your best moments are now just shadows in the rearview mirror. You think you reached your peak years ago, and that everything from here is just a slow descent into insignificance. You've begun to believe that adventure is a young person's game, and that big dreams belong only to those with no baggage. But that is a deception from the one who seeks to steal your hope. Your most glorious days are not behind you, they are waiting for you just over the next horizon. Your most profound victories have not been won yet. The season where you will have the most impact, where your voice will carry the most weight, and where your wisdom will shine the brightest, that season is coming to meet you right now. Your deepest joy is not a fading memory, it is a solid promise written in my own hand. I am not finished with the story of your life. I am not ready to close the book on your heart. I am not satisfied with where you are, because I see the magnificent place where you are going. I have more in store for you, more favor, more anointing, more revelation, and more intimacy than you have ever tasted. I am El Shaddai, the God of the overflow. I do not bless in small measured doses. I pour out my spirit lavishly until your cup runs over. I know the exhaustion has settled into your very bones. The struggle has felt so long, the road so steep, and the betrayals so cutting that you feel you have nothing left to offer. You are weary of the fight, weary of the believing, and weary of the standing. You just want the noise to stop and the pain to go away. You are at the end of your own strength, and my child, that is exactly where I can truly begin. When you finally run out of your own resources, you tap into my infinite supply. When you reach your human limit, you collide with my divine limitlessness. When you can no longer carry the weight, I am the one who lifts both the burden and the one who carries it. Do not surrender now, not when the dawn is so close. The hour right before the sun rises is always the darkest, and the pressure is always greatest just before the diamond is formed. The enemy only rages this fiercely because he knows his time is short and your breakthrough is imminent. He screams the loudest when he knows he is losing his grip on your destiny. So hold on to my character. Hold on to the words I whispered to you in the dark. I am the God who completes the work I started in you. I will never walk away from you, even if you try to walk away from yourself. I see you specifically. I see the exact tear that fell 10 minutes ago. I see the specific sacrifice you made that no one else thanked you for. I saw you in your mother's womb, and I see you now in your moment of greatest doubt. When I look at you, I don't see a mess. I see a masterpiece under construction. I don't see damaged goods. I see a chosen vessel, purchased with a price so high it cannot be calculated. Stop looking at yourself through the broken mirror of your failures. Look at yourself through the lens of my grace. You are not what you have done. You are who I say you are. You are righteous, you are holy, and you are mine. Release the crushing weight of trying to be perfect for a world that doesn't even know your name. I never asked for perfection. I only ever asked for your heart. You are not responsible for saving the world. I have already done that. You are not responsible for fixing every person around you. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is step back and let them find me for themselves. Protect your peace. It is okay to say no to the demands that drain your spirit. It is okay to set boundaries that guard the flame I have lit within you. You cannot pour from an empty vessel, so come to me and let me fill you up. Your journey has been long, but every step was purposeful. Every valley taught you to trust my staff, and every storm taught you the power of my voice. You didn't quit, and for that, I am so proud of you. You are still here, still standing, and still loved beyond measure. The day is coming when the puzzle will be finished, and you will see the beauty of the whole picture. You will weep with gratitude as you realize that I never, ever let you go. Walk today in the freedom that cost me everything to give you. Walk in a joy that doesn't depend on your bank account or your health, but on my presence. Walk in a peace that stands guard over your mind like a soldier. You are seen, you are known, you are deeply, eternally loved. Keep your eyes on me, for we are going to finish this story together, and the ending is more beautiful than you can possibly conceive.